Hey guys, welcome to the video here from Southern California, and I'm going to do a little video on the Wisefab Corvette kit that we just released. As you know, that's a very special kit for me because I really wanted to get a Corvette kit out on the market after doing Drift Week 2 and seeing lots of the Corvette kits over there and not quite liking them. So after that we developed this kit mostly right here in California with Richard Advani. Some other guys also had the cars on their kits. Among them was Nick Gross, who just had the second victory with this kit at the Hot Pit Auto Fest when he won that a couple days ago. And Richard had the first victory with the prototype kit, winning the FD shootout at Sonoma. So obviously a kit that's already starting off its life really well with 2 victories before it was even on the market. Really happy with how it drives. It's incredibly easy, it's incredibly predictable, it's very good for battles, it's very easy to make the car move forward, and really happy with that. So beautiful day over here. Let's have a look at this kit. Obviously I already unwrapped the plastic for you guys, otherwise it would be a little bit of a boring video. Of course we have the uprights which go on the top of the knuckles. Everything, as you can see, is double shear, so no weird stuff over there. The knuckle itself is of course a really important piece. Again, here you can see that it's double shear again. Wisefab stuff is usually steel plated, so we like that. And the reason for that is that it's not heavier than any aluminum part, which would have been made from a billet aluminum, so that would be completely saturated on the inside, which this steel setup obviously doesn't have. So there's air in here, so you're winning a lot of weight over there. And double shear makes it very compact, so that this doesn't have to be a massive piece, so you cannot fit any wheels and stuff. So really easy on the hardware as well, of course. Everything double shear, easy to work on, easy to set up, no weird shanks that can come out. Very nice piece. This is the adapter or the adjuster for the angle, so the more of these dots are visible on the side where it touches the perch is where you're going to have less and less lock. Obviously there's 2 of these things in here, and there's 2 knuckles obviously. Then obviously the arms are important on a lock kit. That's what it all started with. As you can see, again, very typically Wisefab steel arms. We use a very specific steel that's extremely strong. It has a quick adjusters that we invented. There's a couple of other companies that adapted that after that, but we invented it, and works really well. So you loosen up these nuts and you use this Allen to move the joint in and out. So if you both move them out at the same time, you're going to be adjusting the camber, and if you move them in different directions, you're going to be shifting this point, which is going to be a caster adjusting the shock mount over here and the mount for the anti-roll bar, of course. One other typical Wisefab feature is of course the adjustment of the Ackermann curve. Keep in mind that I'm saying curve, so it's not a typical Ackermann setting. If any car that has an Ackermann principle will have a curve, which means that the Ackermann changes with how much lock you apply to the car. That's also why there is not one answer regarding Ackermann, because some guys will be driving on a little more lock and they'll want parallel steering to occur later, and other guys will be setting it up for instance, a bank where you'll be doing a little less angle, but you want parallel steering earlier, or some guys don't want parallel steering at all. That's why we have this adjustability. You use these washers. As you can see, they have an off-center hole, which is on different spots. So the one with more teeth is going to have more offset in the hole, and you can basically move the tie rod position further in or out. Obviously, if you move the tie rod in that direction, you're going to correct Ackermann. If you move the tie rod in that direction, you're going to go to a more Ackermann effect, which is more towards a stock car, the standard setting of the Corvette. This is of course because the Corvette is front steering rack. If you'd have an S chassis or any other car with a rear steering rack, it would work exactly the other way around. So keep that in mind. On the S chassis, if you move this further there, you're going to be correcting more Ackermann, and if you move it further there, it's going to be more like standard Ackermann, to simplify things a little bit. Super nice kit. One other thing that I really like about Wisefab is if you adjust these washers, the steps between the holes are exactly 1.5 millimeter, so there's 1.5 millimeter difference there, and the pitch of the tie rods is also 1.5 millimeter, which means that if you go from a certain washer to a different washer, let's say that you move 1.5 millimeter, that's one revolution of the tie rod. So you're going to have the same alignment specs but different Ackermann settings, which is of course really easy. If you're in competition, you don't have to realign the car, you just change the Ackermann washer, and it's super easy. So if you guys have any questions about this kit, feel free to hit me up. As I said, we're really proud of it. We took our time with it, as with all the Wisefab products, so it's thoroughly tested. It has all the adjustability that you know from the E90 kits and from the S chassis kits. Typical Wisefab steel knuckle has all the benefits that we like to see, which is of course fixability. Let's say you're in a really bad crash and something gets bent, it's much easier to fix something from steel, bend it back or whatever. I know guys that have bent back crashed knuckles many times and it still works really well. Also, it's not much heavier than a billet aluminum piece. It's most times it's even lighter, and a nice thing of course is that everything that's stock on the Corvette, like the stock wheel bearings, everything, we make sure that that fits really well. If you don't have any interference, any problems there, you can run a very big variety of wheels. Typical Wisefab kit, like I keep saying it, when I drove this for the first time, I was blown away with how good it works, with how much self-steer you have, and how much you still keep on the contact patch of the front tire. So the front tire stays very planted, which is of course very nice, because especially in battles where you're going to be doing corrections and you're going to be shooting forward to your opponent and you need the left foot brake, it's very important that that wheel stays on the ground in a nice flat contact spot. If you don't want that, obviously you can also adjust the Wisefab to be a completely different kit. You can run way more caster, you can run way more camber, you can introduce much more jacking to the kit. That way you can also do that by running a different offset of wheels. We have an insane amount of angle on this kit. I've been testing it mostly on the least angle setting, which is more than enough. Eric Welch did a 360 entry. Almost everybody I know that we did the development with easily did reverse entries or backies with this kit. It makes a huge amount of angle. And the thing with the Corvette kit is the Corvette is such a great chassis that it really needs a good lock kit. If you run this with a lock kit that leaves something to be desired, geometry wise and also strength wise, you're gonna have a really bad day, because it's a really good chassis with a low center of gravity. So anything gets very obvious if there's a mistake. It just amplifies all the problems that you may have in a lock kit, because the chassis is so direct. You really want to be totally correct with your geometry on this car, because it's basically a race car from the factory. They have a lot of mechanical grip in the rear, so if you have a lock kit that doesn't really function in the front, that's basically accommodating some angle, but you can't really drive in the angle, because that's my complaint with most of the lock kits that are on the market right now, or actually with all of them. They may have angle, but you can't really use the angle because the wheel just flops to a really weird spot, and it's a very vague steering in the center, not to mention the quality of the joints. All our joints are European joints, no China over here. There's lots and lots of problems going on in the spherical and the uniball world right now, due to all the problems that the world is experiencing. So there's lots of lock kit manufacturers that are cutting corners over there. We are absolutely not doing that. It's super important for us that the joints are really high quality, all European made. Also, one thing that's super important for us is the spare part availability. If you look on the website, the spares are easy to find. It's like going to a BMW or a Porsche website where you can just get the exploded view of the parts. Order all the parts. They have part numbers. We have all of them on stock. We can have any part and this lock kit on your desk just like this. in your yard. We can have it anywhere in the world within 36 hours, and if it has to be faster, we can even do that faster. So that was the Corvette lock kit. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy this. Anybody who's buying this kit, anybody who's put faith in us, putting themselves on the list for the pre-order. So really glad that we can finally offer this kit, and let me know what you guys think about it.
Don't forget to take a look at our website as well, einzel.nl. We ship worldwide, of course, Wisefab, Feel Suspension, our own brand Einzel, gearboxes, quick change differentials, axles, all kinds of things. A lot of fabrication components, of course, air jacks, subframes for quick change, you name it. Drop us an email and we'll hook you up.